Hello, this is Jake Light, Gaming Lawyer at your service. The video you're about to see is an edited version of my streaming of the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve on Twitch. If you like what you see, consider leaving a like or comment on this video, or subscribe to the channel and click on the bell to be the first to watch the latest content. Otherwise, if you want to catch me live and interact with me on Twitch, the link is in the description below. As always, take care, stay hopeful, but be critical. Enjoy the show. Alright, hello, welcome back to Great Ace Attorney again, where we are going to be defending a mad scientist who supposedly invented teleportation, but lo and behold, it failed and someone died, and he has been blamed as the main suspect, accused as the main suspect of the death of that victim. And yeah, so we're gonna find out how true is that. Probably not, maybe, I have no idea, so we're gonna find out now. Anyways, let's start the thing. On the 3rd October, 8:52 a.m., the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. I can't believe it's been 6 months since I was last allowed to work in court. And now here I am, back at the Old Bailey. And you know how I got back? A guy, a judge, a Lord Chief Justice, someone by that title, told me I can, and now I can go back to defending people. It's that easy. Huh. Mr. Naruto. Good morning, Professor Habring. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. The atmospheric pressure in here is off the charts. I've never felt anything like it. It's crushing me. I feel it every time I'm here. That gravity. Well, this is Britain's highest court. But are you telling me it's fitted with some kind of device that can actually control air pressure? I think it's probably all in the mind. Ah, yes, well, you won't let me down, will you, Mr. Naruto? I'm counting on you in today's trial to save my life, to save the secrets of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine from being made public. Yes, I understand. I know what I have to do. Maybe. I have to establish that the explosion 2 days ago was nothing more than an unfortunate accident. Unless it's not an unfortunate accident. Well, I'm sure that nothing's to worry about. Really, justice will prevail. Who's this? My commiserations, Mr. Naruto. You appear to have been lumbered with the most tiresome case here. Mr. Sholmes, I didn't expect you to see you here.
It was very mean, Bruno, leaving me alone at home with Hurley. It took me at least an hour to wake him.
Is it? Are you? Sherlock Sholmes! Indeed, sir, I am he, Sherlock Sholmes. Okay. Oh, I've heard all about your exploits, even whilst living in Germany.
Ah yes, Rand's magazine is on sale in Germany too.
This month's installment was sublime. Your deduction in the adventure of Sybil Blaze was wonderful. Ah yes, a memorable case indeed. It concerned a snake, I seem to recall.
No, No, that was the speckled man.
Well, thank you for coming. I do appreciate your support. And nothing else. I'm sorry to disappoint you, my dear fellow, but I'm afraid I can't stay. Yes! Oh, how sad. I have urgent business at Madame Tussauds. You mean your waxwork job? No. The waxwork abduction, of course. Madame has engaged my services. Ah, so you're trying to get to the bottom of that ransom note, are you? The week's wages depend on it, and thus the safe return of the waxwork naturally. As such, I intend to give my undivided attention. Oh, well, never mind then, I understand. So sad, I'm so sad that you're not gonna be here. Boo. Of course, with my skills of observation and reasoning, resolving the matter will be as easy as proverbial pie. I shall return forthwith. It's okay, you don't have to return. For until I solve the case, I shall have no money to afford a pie of any description. Very true.
Ooh, then you must absolutely give it your full attention, Hurley.
Quite, Iris, quite. But life is riddled with irony, you know? Whenever I give something my full attention, I have a quite insatiable desire for a pie. One of the universe's intractable mysteries, you might say. Oh yes, quite, definitely, absolutely, I totally understand. Is someone a little starstruck? I wish you the very best of luck, Professor Harebrain. Why, thank you. Before I depart, Miss Naruhodo, a word on your ear, if you please. Huh? What's this about? As you have remarkably little grounding in science, I feel I ought to inform you. As compelling as this super high voltage instantaneous kinesis hypothesis may be, a practical implementation, such as was and attempted by the professor at a great exhibition, is quite impossible. But the professor said the demonstration was a success. Yes, it would appear that he fervently believes it was.
I've read Professor Moneybrain's paper about it too, Bruno, and I have to say, I'm sure it can be done. It could barely be done theoretically, let alone practically.
So he's completely barking up the wrong tree. But how could an experiment that had no possibility of succeeding, in fact succeed? That's contradictory. And it's that contradiction that you will be at the heart of the trial, I've no doubt. What's that supposed to mean? Now, I must hurry along. I wish you the best of luck, my dear fellow.
See you later, Hurley. Well, it looks like you're on your own today, Bruno. But chin up, you can do it.
Oh, what about you, Iris?
No, I'm afraid I can't help. I have something I need to do.
I see.
It's going to be a big surprise for you when you find out what it is. What it is.
Ha, that sounds ominous.
Cancer for the defense and the defendant. God is about to be in session. Make our way to the courtroom at once.
We're on our way. An experiment that laws of science say can't possibly succeed. And a scientist was convinced that it did. That's the reader you have to unlock here, Ryunosuke. That's the key to this case. Apparently, for the very first time, I'm alone defending the accused. 23rd October, 9:10 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Ooh, new jurors.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are sitting today for the public trial of Professor Albert Harebrain. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready, my lord. I'm 6 months out of practice, and what's more, I'm without Susato-san today. Ugh. Is it just my imagination, or does the air in here feel even more oppressive than usual?
So, I must say, I recollect the victim of this case all too well, Mr. Oldeye Asman.
Mr. Asman was well known as a financier, though that was merely a front for his diverse criminal activities.
It was only a month ago that the man appeared in court prosecuted by you, Lord Von Zix, but the jury unanimously found him not guilty.
Because every member of the jury had been bribed, by the sound of it. These powerful London criminals are prepared to go to extreme lengths to keep their freedom.
But 2 days ago, on 21st October, Mr. Osman met his end. The work of the Reaper, was it?
If that is how your lordship would describe the divine retribution. But the fact remains that Mr. Asman's death was a direct result of the actions of the accused, Professor Harebrain.
Very well, then. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, who have been selected at random to represent the will of the people, are the 6 of you ready to fulfill your societal duty?
Oh man, who is this guy?
I am most gratified to have been selected to carry out this important civic duty, my lord.
To have,
Oh man, I'm running out of weird voices to do.
to have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly, it sends shivers down my spine.
Oh man. Oh shit. There's so many different people. Okay. Science experiments. Magic conjuring. His face looks boring. Science experiments, magic conjuring tricks, courtroom trials. All are nothing more than performances. Oh man.
Any spurious scholar that defiles the reputation of science deserves to hang.
We have to listen to... we have to listen to what's saying on both sides of the fountain. Let's settle on one. That's it, isn't it?
Oh, it's this guy. And he's sleeping. Oh my god.
Wasn't like this in my day. Wasn't like this at all.
Okay, another old man. That's the police killer Automo lookalike again. And he's as exhausted as ever, it seems.
Now, as I'm sure you all are aware, the incident we are here to judge today tragically took place at a great exhibition shortly after its opening.
Though the death toll could have been far worse, with the exception of the victim, no one was killed. Nevertheless, the dream of the signs being exhibited rapidly turned into a nightmare for the spectators.
A tragic turn of events, and as such, the eyes of all London, no, of the whole world will be on this trial. It is our duty to reach a swift and just conclusion. I feel, in sacrifice of the legal system's regulations. So, your opening statement, please, Lord Van Zix.
At the heart of this incident, it is its technology never before demonstrated anywhere in the world.
One of science's latest development, I take it. The government is keen to capitalize on a great exhibition to improve Britain's technological advantage.
The technology being demonstrated by the accused was described as super high voltage instantaneous kinesis.
Good Lord!
It's designed to disassemble human subjects using extremely high voltage electricity and beam them instantly to another location where they are subsequently reassembled.
Is there such a thing even within the realms of possibility?
Well, I don't believe it, that's for sure.
Disassembling people with electricity? Oh my goodness, how shocking!
Ha! The whole idea is absurd. The hypothesis would never stand up to scrutiny. Sir, I believe you are a fellow of the Royal Society, are you not? An expert in your field.
I am, and my word on the matter can be considered final. Instantaneous kinesis is a poppycock. So this expert and Mrs. Sholmes are in agreement. It's impossible.
What is the prosecution's view on the matter?
The prosecution would assert that the accused's instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a success.
What?
What rot?
What rot? What rot? What rot?
Order! Order!
The professor's hypothesis is currently under investigation by the British government. If it is deemed to have merit, a substantial research grant would be made available. The accused made use of an invention built on his new hypothesis to take Mr. Asmund's life, in order to be the sole benefactor of the grant.
But
this disastrous demonstration was no accident. It was carefully designed from the outset to end the life of the victim.
I think Van Zix here is saying the truth for once.
Thank you, Lord Van Zix. The prosecution's stance is clear. But you will now bring forth witnesses to substantiate your claims.
Gladly, my lord. Bailiff, show the witnesses. Show the first witnesses to the stand.
Okay.
Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard's Homicide Division. I was on duty at the demonstration on the day in question, in charge of the following investigation. Albert Wayne, the scientist!
You were born in England, but have been carrying out research in Germany in recent years, correct?
Yes, that's right. After graduating from university here in Britain, I went to work in... Oh, so he's not German? Okay. Well, I continue. I'll pretend that he's like pretending to be a German. I went to work in Germany and made an amazing discovery. Which explains his weird German accent. Which is what brought me back. I had to demonstrate my incredible hypothesis at the great exhibition.
What you demonstrated was incredible, alright? An incredible explosion.
But the science was a success. See, the instantaneous kinesis worked. Everyone saw it. They must have done. Yes, there was the terrible accident, but the demonstration was, my hypothesis was a success.
Well, that much is undeniable, as shown in this photograph taken by a forensic investigation team.
Ah, that doesn't look like he got exploded though, you know?
This was taken inside a crystal tower, I take it. The centerpiece of the exhibition, no less.
That's right, my lord. Seems the victim ran straight into it.
I see. Very well. Submit the photograph as evidence.
Photograph of... Yeah, so...
As the courts heard, the victim of the incident was Mr. O'Dye S-Man. There have been a number of allegations made against the man, but putting them aside for the time being, he was the man who financed the research for the experiment and the demonstration itself.
I see. To summarize the situation, the defendant is accused of taking the life of the man who funded his work. Would that be correct?
Exactly.
But could it be that explosion was caused by some malfunction in the apparatus used for the demonstration? That's right! This must be right! My splendid machine! My poor splendid machine!
You saw it yesterday, didn't you? We can't even examine the wreckage thanks to the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act.
What? The wreckage! The wreckage!
But that being the case, how can the facts be established? How can it possibly be determined whether this was an accident or a deliberate and malicious act?
Extremely simple, my lord.
I beg your pardon?
Isn't that right, witness?
What? Sorry, me?
No, your neighbor. Yes, sir, it was murder, plain and simple. Anyone could state that with complete certainty.
What? How can you possibly think that?
Thank you, Inspector. I think we have better proceed to formal testimony.
You should have proceeded to formal testimony right at the beginning.
You will explain to the court on what grounds you claim this experiment to have been a front for murder.
The corpse that went crashing through the crystal tower had a broken neck.
So there's no autopsy. There's no autopsy. Great. Only a picture. Does this look like a broken neck? I don't think this looks like a broken neck. What's this? Is this the neck? I don't think this is the neck. Neck's over here. Neck doesn't look like there's anything wrong with neck. But he is strapped to the thing. Seemingly strapped to the thing. I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam. Projection, that's all. That was my mistake. but the post-mortem examination revealed not an injury, a fatal wound. There was a lesion in his chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart. So the victim was killed before he went anywhere, and his fellow's only one who could have done it.
An extraordinary business. In addition to suffering a broken neck, the victim was stabbed in the heart.
Information I would really like to have heard from someone other than the judge. The coroner says death would have been all but instant from a wound like that.
You could say, in fact, that the victim was killed twice by the accused.
No, that couldn't be further from the truth. I have here the experiment plan document that was submitted to the security team. The victim stood himself inside something called a birdcage, ready to be beamed instantly to the second level of the crystal tower about 25 yards away.
The experiment did not go according to plan, however. As the machine was put into operation, there was a large explosion. The blast caused the beam transmitter to point higher than intended. Accordingly, the kinesis resulted in the birdcage materializing in mid-air, from where it subsequently fell, crashing through the glass of the crystal tower's large round window.
My word! One assumes the victim's neck was broken upon being packed with the tower then.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. The machine was just too powerful. But honestly, really, I swear, it was just an accident. A terrible accident.
Unfortunately, that accused can't save you.
No, not considering the sharp murder weapon that pierced the victim's heart. Murder weapon? What are you saying?
This is the autopsy report submitted by the coroner. The prosecution would like it entered into the court record.
Your request is granted, counsel.
Okay, I'm gonna look at that. Double. Are we gonna immediately go to guilty now? I was there in the person, you know. I saw the whole ludicrous performance. And the only other person on the stage with Miss Osmond was that disgraceful excuse for a scientist. And really, by all accounts, it must have been him.
Hard to think otherwise, really.
Very well. Counsel for defense, proceed with the cross-examination, please.
Oh, yes, my lord. I need to focus here. It's been a while. Front for murder. The corpse that went crashing through the blah blah blah. Okay. Oh yeah, I need to read the thing. This. Old dying ass man. Male, 47, British, time of death, Coroner is Courtney Sith. Is that relevant? This is the first time I've seen the name in an autopsy. The coroner's name in an autopsy. Cause of death. Hemorrhage of a wound to the chest pierced the heart. Inflicted by a sharp implement. Additional observation. A broken vertebra. Most likely resulting from impact after a sudden fall from a considerable height. Details of... Oh, okay, there's only 2 pages. And there's this. Okay. I guess you would like once you hit the ground from a high place, your neck would snap if you're strapped to that thing. So yeah, I guess so. But you know, there's also this thing. Right? This crossbow thing. Weapon found hidden behind a tree under the experiment stage at the exhibition ground. Turns out that it's a folding crossbow. And I don't think I can examine anything over here. Alright, I only have a few things to do. Which is probably I'm going to press certain statements here. Another fatal injury, you say? That doesn't make any sense. I didn't think I have to spell this out, but here we go. Just because there were 2 fatal wounds doesn't mean I'm saying the victim had 2 lives to lose, does it? 2, right? Obviously, at first we thought the bloke had died due to spine snapping in half as well. But you're saying that's not the case? You'll get your answer once I finish my fish and chips. If you don't keep butting in every few seconds. We all know that's a bottomless bag. The victim plummeted 30 feet into a glass tower. It would be reasonable to assume that is the cause of death. Right, that's what we all thought. It was a red herring, wasn't it? There was a lesion in his chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart. The defense knew nothing of this crucial information. The prosecution received his report from the forensic investigation team only this morning. That was the first we knew of it as well. I can only apologize for the impossibility of informing the defense. Sarcastic and insincere. Thanks. So, what was the nature of this sharp object? Among the accused 2 that were in use at the demonstration, one is of particular interest. This.
Ah, yes, that would appear to be so.
Ah! There he is! My trusty little companion, Andrew!
Andrew? Of course.
Ah, do you know each other already? He's one of my dear friends. Like all my tools. I've named them all, you know. We're one big happy family. Andrew is my flathead screwdriver, of course. His brother Michael is a crosshead.
Well, it would appear that your beloved Andrew has a red stain on his shank.
Ah, that isn't. What is that? Okay. Right. It's okay.
It's blood, beyond all reasonable doubt.
No.
And that's not all. The long, sharp shape of this Andrew fellow is completely consistent with the victim's wound.
What?
Order! Order! The court will enter this friend for the defendant as evidence.
Screwdriver has been considered. So one of Professor Hairprin's tools is a murder weapon. Let's look at it. Okay, let's examine this. I've seen this unusually shaped handle before. It's the same screwdriver that was lodged in a grill on the floor of the kinesis machine, which could be important information, so I should definitely make a note of it. poking through the grill in the base of what remains of the kinesis machine. Okay. I think then not much. This is blood, Mr. Asmans, no doubt. This is the problem with looking at murder weapons. Right. I'm pretty sure this is like where you hook the thing. It's like it's like a little crossbow bolt. You hook it over here. But why? If this is the Professor Harebrain's tool, and this is the murder weapon, right? Obviously, right? I don't think nobody is going to be shocked that this is the murder weapon. Is there like a place for it to put on? Yeah, so it's a pretty advanced thing since it's like a compactable thing. I guess I can't really examine anything further. But yeah, well, it doesn't look like it's the screwdriver could be used for that. For the crossbow at least. Because it doesn't look like it. Okay. So one of Professor Harebrain's tools is the murder weapon. Great. Before he went anywhere, and this fella's the only one who got done it. What grounds do you have for saying that? Huh. Do you really need to ask? There were only 2 people on that public experimentation stage in front of a whole crowd. The victim, Mr. Odi Asman, and the accused, Professor Harebrain. And we know for certain that before the experiment, the victim was alive.
That's right. I saw him with my own eyes. Saw him with my own eyes.
Furthermore, following the explosion at Kinesis, nobody went anywhere near the body.
In other words, only someone else on stage with the victim could possibly have done it.
Excuse me. I love your voices for the characters. Thank you, Sig. Thank you. Professor Harebrain, do you have some information that may be relevant here? Professor! Ah, sorry. I was just calculating the optimum coefficient of electrolysis to separate molecules in a human body. And the witness stand is the best place for that. It seemed as though you might have something to say about Inspector Gregson's last remark. Yes, that's right, of course. He just said that nobody else could have done it, did he?
Yeah, that's right. Who else could have stabbed the victim, eh?
I don't know, but there's no way that could possibly have stabbed Mr. Asman, as you say.
Eh?
Explain, please, Professor. Of course, this cold-hearted policeman may not be aware, I suppose. But humans are warm-blooded mammals with blood running continuously through their veins.
I had heard.
And surely you see, if I'd plunged something that size of entry into the man's chest, the whole stage would have been a bloodbath. No, a blood-swimming pool. Ah. But thousands of Londoners were watching me at the time. And yet no one of them claims to have seen a swimming pool of blood.
Well, no, I suppose not.
You see, not one.
True. I didn't see anything like that.
Well done, Professor. That was a great counter-argument. I didn't need to do anything, except prompt you.
Order! Order!
Pray forgive the discourtesy if I savor a drop from my hallowed chalice to the company, my old friends adducing. Here's to you, Albert.
Oh, you're too kind, Baroque, but I'm really not a patch on you. Oh,
No, you're not.
no.
You've neglected to mention one crucial possibility.
I have?
A particular situation in which very little bleeding would result from a stab wound.
Ah, of course.
Inspector, enlighten the court, please.
Yes, sir. Where are they going with this?
Very well. You will amend your formal testimony now, Inspector Gregson.
The weapon the victim was stabbed with must have been left in his body while he was beamed through the air. If that is the case, nobody touched the body, as you have said. So, it's time to present a evidence. Which is this? Oh no! Not right! Bloody hell! No, this didn't happen, alright? This didn't happen. Okay. Oof. Ouch. Okay. Okay. Yes. No, it didn't happen. I refuse to voice act this part. The weapon the victim was stabbed with must have been left in his body while he was beamed through the air. I'm just gonna press it. Why would you think that, Inspector? With any wound, it's only when you pull the weapon out that profuse bleeding occurs. While it's still lodged in the body, it acts as a stop of sorts, for want of a better word. I see.
You don't need a medical degree to be aware of this fact. It's common knowledge for any investigator.
Ugh, where's the Sato-san when you need her? If you ask me, this bloke masked what he was doing from view with his body before stabbing Asman in the chest. Then he beamed the victim off the stage with his fancy device, the screwdriver still where he planted it. I would never do such a thing! Not to my precious tools! I would never use them for such a dirty work! Oh, I should present the screwdriver, shit. You only use tools for their intended purpose. That's common knowledge for any scientist.
The fact remains, the lack of blood at the scene can easily be explained, as the prosecution has demonstrated.
Right. So that's all the testimony I have to work with. I have no idea that the victim had been stabbed. It changes everything. Did Van Zix keep that to himself until now on purpose? To gain the advantage? Oh well, I suppose all I can do is press his witnesses for as much new information as possible. Right, so I'm going to be doing this. Gonna use the screwdriver. It was found poking through the grill in the base. Yes. Objection! You say that while the weapon remains in the body, there's very little bleeding. Is that unequivocal? Look, there was no blood. There was no blood on the experimentation stage, even though that's where the fellow was stabbed. The only explanation for that is if the screwdriver was still in his body, stopping any heavy bleeding. It's common medical knowledge, my dear learned friend, even on your side of the world. Yes, but about this screwdriver. The thing is, we actually saw it at the scene ourselves, on the experimentation stage.
What?
It was on the floor by the wreckage of the machine, poking through a metal grill. I went to pick it up, but the detective here stopped me. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson? Ah, well, now you come to mention it. Yes.
Inspector, Are we to understand that you permitted the defense counsel to investigate? That you contravened the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act? No, not at all. I won't do that. I just let him look, nothing more. I was very clear he wasn't to touch anything.
Yes, that's true. This screwdriver was in plain sight on the stage. But it shouldn't have been, should it?
What are you getting at?
If this tool had still been in the victim's body when the victim was beamed away by the machine, then it shouldn't have been still been on the stage.
Ah!
That's right. It should have been beamed across to the Crystal Tower along with Mr. Osmond, and been found still lodged in the victim's chest.
Wah!
Order! Order! How do you explain this, Inspector?
I don't... It looks as though everything that the victim had on this person moved with him when he was beamed. If the screwdriver was still in his chest when the instantaneous kinesis occurred, obviously that should have been beamed to the destination as well. This is a strange situation. Even though the people are saying that this instantaneous kinesis is a scientific impossibility, we're still basing arguments on the assumption that it did actually take place. Alright, time to tighten the screws here. The pun. My lord, if the prosecution is unable to explain this inconsistency in its argument, we can only conclude that the testimony given in support cannot be relied upon. Lord Van Ziek is stumped. Oh man.
Do you have something to say, witness?
Yes, I knew it. I pass out. The equations hold. Mr. Naoto, don't worry. Okay, about what? Without delving into details, there is no inconsistency. What? Even if Enter had been lodged in Mr. Osmond's chest, my thrusting tool wouldn't have moved. Andrew remaining on the stage is consistent with my calculations. What? What? Yay, back to square one.
It would seem your illusions have been shattered. Clearly, we should hear the accused's explanation. Or should I say, this brilliant scientist's explanation.
Yeah. Just when I found an inconsistency in the prosecution's argument. Scientists.
Very well. The defendant will testify again. Provide us with the scientific explanation as to why the inconsistency asserted by the defense fails to hold.
In the name of Apollo, I will, my lord. Okay. Second testimony. To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research. My hypothesis states the kinesis cannot transport metal through, hence, the metal weapon could have stayed put. In other words, the point just raised by Mr. Naoto isn't an inconsistency at all. Mr. Osmond was the patron of my research. Without him, my work wouldn't have been possible. Now I have a duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together. Okay. Speechless.
So, the thrust of your testimony, Professor, is...
That based on his hypothesis, matter objects cannot be moved by this method of instantaneous kinesis.
In other words...
In other words, since the screwdriver is made of metal, even if it remained lodged in the victim's chest, its subsequent discovery on the stage despite the victim being found elsewhere is not an inconsistency.
Wait a moment. Sorry about that. All right.
And therefore,
Professor Albert Harebrain could still have been the killer.
My great hypothesis holds, you see. We had to make the cage used to contain the subject from that very reason.
I was not addressing you, witness.
Professor Harebrain? Yes? Whose side are you on here? I don't take sides, Mr. Naruhodo. No. My only interest lies in upholding my hypothesis. I'm a scientist, after all. Is he working for us or against us? It's very hard to tell.
Let's see how you cross-examine this testimony, my Nipponese friend.
Yes, fire away, Mr. Naruhodo. To be clear, I'm still... Oh yeah, let's do this. Weapon states the kinesis cannot transport metal, though hence the metal weapon could have stayed put. Okay. Your hypothesis states it, so this isn't proven then. No, of course not. It's merely a hypothesis, but a good one, based on thousands of calculations. But it is widely known that metals can't be decomposed by electrolysis. Yes, of course, so I'm right. My hypothesis is clearly correct. What is it about incriminating himself that makes this man so happy? It's the whole reason that the birdcage is made of wood, you see. Sorry, the birdcage? Yes, that's what I call the C. obtusa cage, in which Mr. Asman was placed for the kinesis. Obtusa? Is that a pun or something?
Ah, the jail cell in which the victim was detained. It does indeed seem to be made out of timber of some sort.
I'll thank you not to refer to it as an instrument of incarceration, your lordship.
In short, any weapon lodged in the victim when he was beamed away by instantaneous kinesis would have been left behind on the stage if it was made of metal, correct? Metal, correct?
Yes, that's it. Yes. It all fits perfectly with the mathematical model.
But the ultimate conclusion then? is that the defendant alone had the opportunity to inflict this fatal injury on the victim, is it not?
Ah,
Indeed, sir.
someone beam me out of this nightmare. It's inconsistent at all. Mr. Osman was the patron of my research behind my work when it be possible. Express more on this. What do you mean by that? How did you come to know Mr. Osman in the first place? A year ago, a small provincial science journal published a little paper about my work.
That's a scientific journal? Good gracious, I should need new spectacles.
I might have had extraordinary hypothesis and great promise, but at the time I had no money. I had to eat tiny little meals at a tiny little cafe and drink watered down water out of a tiny little glass. But Mr. Osman read the paper and came to visit me at my tiny little laboratory.
And offered you money to help fund your work.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. I handled the theoretical side of things, and Mr. Osman provided me with an engineer for the practical. And the three of us produced that fantastic machine together.
The machine that you brought to the great exhibition to demonstrate.
We had to apply to the government for some sort of inspection to be allowed to exhibit, I think. I didn't understand all that side of things. Mr. Osman took care of all of it. He was a wonderful man, really. I owe him everything.
Now, that's something I really is interesting to know about. Built together. I just press everything. I feel like I'm not going to be able to present any evidence because I don't think I have any. Right, nothing, not this one. What about this? This one, canvas-like material packed with rubber that was found on the experiment. No, not it. Stab wound, autopsy doesn't say anything as well. Trying to contradict that thing. And nothing to find out about the screwdriver anymore. You seem to be pleased by that.
Yes, another example of my hypothesis holding true. But I sense some sarcasm, Miss Naruhodo. Are you not pleased?
No.
I knew it. At the end of the day, I'm the one responsible for Mr. Osman losing his life. The advancement of science is no excuse. I know that.
No, you're quite right.
Tell the court that you have a close relationship with Mr. Osman.
Oh, well, no, not really. I mean, I've only met him 2 or 3 times. We've only ever discussed my hypothesis at the project, and the research grant, of course.
Okay. I'm gonna present. And yet your retort to my argument wasn't lacking in confidence in any way.
No scientist can find the truth without first finding self-belief. Those were the words of a certain scientist I hold in very high esteem.
But you realize that disproving my argument puts you in a very precarious position, don't you?
No scientist should strive to protect himself more than he strives to protect the truth. More words of the same great scientist, you know.
Words that are causing me a lot of trouble. Who is the scientist?
I'm afraid I couldn't tell you, Mr. Naruhodo. But as soon as I remember the magnificent genius name, you'll be the first to know.
Okay. It might be worth keeping the names of your idols to mind.
You're wasting your breath, my learned friend. This scatterbrain even forgets my name at times.
So Lord Van Zix really did have a friend once. I didn't notice hell freezing over. Okay, last statement to press. When you say that you built the machine together, does that mean that you were involved in its construction? Yes, well, not exactly. I'm not good with practical side of machines myself, so the physical construction was done by an engineer.
Little remains of your creation now, though. Following the explosion, repair would no doubt be impossible.
Yes, I realize that, but still. If someone were to gather all the broken parts, they could discover the secrets of my hypothesis. But Mr. Osmond and I toiled over that machine for so long. We put our hearts and souls into it. I have to protect our work. So what's left of the machine must be kept safe. That's only fair, because what happened was an accident. That's the extent of the testimony then. Thank goodness for that. Don't want him doing any more damage. He's already basically proven that he could have been the culprit. But it seems as though all he really cares about is defending his hypothesis. Still, I wonder, what if his hypothesis is just fundamentally flawed? Okay, so that means I have something to present against... Is there some sort of metal? Are you saying this is metal? Sunglasses? Or this thing? Is this metal? Right? If anything, I'm gonna present the photograph. Present a photograph. No, not a photograph. Overrule. Oh man, what would it be then? I would have to think again. Mr. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to look at again if I'm missing anything. I am probably not missing anything. The Reaper attacked. It's the kingpins of the criminal underworld generally managing to escape conviction in the Reaper's trials. This isn't the first time their henchmen have tried to attack Lord Mark Zix as a result, by the sound of it. It makes you think, if that's how the justice system works in London, then there must be dark forces at work. Right, so that's that. Okay. I don't think it's this thing. Metal screwdriver that was poking ... Is there metal stuff in the... Is there non-metal stuff? How? Hemorrhage, broken vertebra, cracks on vertebra height, pierce the heart inflicted by a sharp implement. Okay, I am kind of stumped. Have I not pressed every statement possible? Oh, oops. Okay. Right. I'm using my brain. Trying to use my brain here. Right. So, I think, yeah, that's the hint. I'm supposed to contradict what he's trying to say, which is he's saying that metal can't be teleported. Right. But I have nothing. To be clear, I'm saying stage 10. My hypothesis states the kinesis cannot transport matter. As some atoms. Did I not press this? Okay, I pressed this. Alright, sorry, but the birdcage is, yeah. Right. Said the defender had the opportunity to inflict in other words, the point just raised by Mr. is inconsistent at all. I'm pretty sure it's this statement. But cannot transport matter though, hence the metal weapon would have stayed put. Would the blood transfer as well? Objection. Nope. Okay. Right, I tried and I gave up. Let's see what's the thing. Hairbrain. Testimony. Ace Attorney. Papa. Photograph of the victim on statement 2. Yeah, I did do that, right? Damn it. I did do that. Or didn't I? Objection. Wait, okay, it's okay. I probably have to review, look back at my VOD and see if I was dumb. I probably am dumb. Professor Hairbrain, you say that according to your hypothesis, nothing made of matter can be beamed by instantaneous kinesis using the machine you made. Is that right? Yes, that's right. Spot on, exactly correct. In that case, I'd ask you to have a look at this photograph that was taken at the scene. In particular, I like you to pay attention to the victim's face. You can clearly see that Mr. Osman is wearing a pair of spectacles with a metal rim. What? Metal? No, metal can't. That's not metal? No! We've already established that proposed murder weapon, the screwdriver, was found on the stage. However, if your hypothesis correctly predicted that outcome, it should also have predicted. It should have also predicted that the metal rim spectacles would have been found in the same place. Ah, my hypothesis! My hypothesis! Professor Hairbrain, this isn't easy for me to say, but your hypothesis is clearly flawed.
Order! Counsel, what is the implication of this?
If, on a day in question, the alleged instantaneous kinesis never actually took place, then it's entirely possible that the victim was killed somewhere other than on the stage. In that case, someone other than the defendant could have been the culprit. But my hypothesis is sound. I proved that the experiment was a success. Experiment was proof of all my work.
If I could say something here, in my capacity as a fellow of the Royal Society. Yes, juror number 4. Go ahead. As a man of science, there's one thing I simply cannot abide. There's a fraud who pretends to be a fellow man of science.
What? Wait, great Scott, are you suggesting my science is suspect?
It's just been disproved, hasn't it, in front of all of us. In other words, the whole demonstration was a complete nonsense from the start to finish. Believe me, my fellow jurors, I'll tell you that this man is a heel, a bounder, and a fraud.
I say the wreckage of that machine should be stripped down and thoroughly examined.
No, never. That machine is the essence of my entire hypothesis. It's protected by the Special Dispensation of Scientific Equipment Act.
What the devil is that blasted act all about, eh? Who made out such a daft move?
I don't like the way this seems to be going. What's the best way for me to help the professor? Raise an objection, I guess. Professor Harebrain has yet to perfect his invention. That would seem to be the case, yes. But even so...
Even so what?
Going to such trouble and expense to create a fake machine to display in public. He would have absolutely no reason to do such a thing.
He had an obvious reason to do exactly that. For the research grant money.
If the government was foolish enough to deem the man such ridiculous notion plausible, he and his conspirators would have received a handsome sum indeed.
Conspirators? What would be the value of such a grant? £10?
You're an order of magnitude out, madame. £500 a year.
You can't leave an handsome amount that much of years.
Society's noticed an increase in bogus public demonstrations in the field of science recently. And plenty of scientists arguing with each other to get the largest slice of the funding cake. People's greed is plenty motive enough for good murder, I assure you.
No. I haven't deceived anyone. List of all the government. My hypothesis is sound. The science is sound. Please, you must believe me.
No matter how unbelievable this hypothesis may seem to you, ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains that the victim was transported instantly to the Crystal Tower. Which means that the experiment was a success.
Baroque.
And therefore, the only person who could possibly have committed this murder is the accused.
Baroque. Where is this heading? I have no idea.
My lord, if I may.
Yes, Lord Von Zix.
The prosecution would like to summon new witnesses to the stand.
New witnesses? What would be the nature of their involvement?
They were spectators of the demonstrations at the exhibition who were occupying special seats.
Eyewitnesses?
Very well. The court grants the prosecution's request. I should very much like to hear from eyewitnesses to the incident.
The prosecution's stand is clear. This experiment was no postiche. Accused killed the financial victim there on the public stage, before the very eyes of the spectators. Now, my learned friend,
Yes?
it's time for you to make your own stance clear.
There's clearly a flaw in the professor's hypothesis. I can never see that. But where does that leave me? Finding out the real murderer, of course.
We shall take a short recess now, during which time the prosecution will prepare its new witnesses to take the stand.
At least we don't immediately go to the ridiculousness of the jury announcing their verdict of guilty.
As you wish, my lord.
Good. In that case, court is adjourned for 20 minutes.
Okay. To be continued. Right. Okay, let's continue a bit more. This is a bit short. Okay. Let's do this. Who would have thought the trial would continue a bit more, but apparently not. 3rd October, 10:44 a.m. The Old Bailey, defendants and chamber.
Mr. Naruto, what on earth were you playing at just now? Or rather, what on the earth were you playing at all along? My amazing hypothesis, you've just been pecking holes in it from the start.
Sorry about that.
But you promised me. You said you proved that the explosion was an accident, not murder. You said you'd keep my precious invention from falling into anyone else's hands. But all you've done so far is try to undermine me.
Yes, I did make you a promise. You're right. I said that I believe in you and fight for your freedom to the very end. But I also told you I was no scientist. I don't understand your hypothesis. The fact is, there's an undeniable flaw in your logic, isn't there?
But if I just run through some equations, yes, you see, it's because my work is incomplete.
Perhaps it is. Nevertheless, a man died as a consequence, didn't he?
Oh no! You're right. You're so right. It's all my fault. And I have no right to blame you for my failures. I'm a disaster, not just as a scientist, but as a human being.
Well, that might be a little over to the top.
And while we're on the subject, what about Baroque? He's being awful.
Claiming his old university friend to be a murderer. Murderer, you mean?
He's a disaster, not just as a prosecutor, but as a human being. Oh, but no, wait. He's the Reaper, isn't he? Perhaps he's not classified as Homo sapiens anymore.
Glad that's cleared up. Can I double check something with you?
Yes, what?
The machine and demonstration you prepared. They were based entirely on your hypothesis, I presume? There was no trickery involved?
I drew the plans for the machines with my very own hands. Every line was painstakingly drawn with the firm belief that science is the only future. So yes, it's true that my hypothesis hasn't reached maturity yet, but please, Miss Naruto, you must believe in me.
All right, Professor. I understand. You just drew the plans. You didn't build it. Someone else built it.
who that person is? We want to know.
Counsel, defendant. The prosecution's witnesses are ready to take the stand. Court is about to be in session again. Make your way in the courtroom, please.
It all hinges on that demonstration. If the professor's hypothesis is sound as he claims, it leaves him as the only person who could possibly have killed the victim. But on the other hand, Mr. Sholmes was adamant. A practical implementation, such as it was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition, is quite impossible. So really, what should I be trying to prove here? Who's the real murderer, of course? The 3rd October, 11 a.m., the Old Bailey courtroom.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready for the new witnesses to testify?
The prosecution is ready, my lord.
As is the defense, my lord.
So, Lord Van Zix, I believe these next witnesses saw the demonstration of the day in question with our own eyes.
Indeed, they did. And as luck would have it, one of them is a police detective. So the testimony we are about to hear can be considered highly reliable.
Perfect. A detective of all people.
The prosecution stance remains unchanged. Though it ended in tragedy, the demonstration of the day in question was scientifically sound. And consequently, the sole person with the opportunity to have committed this act of murder is the only other individual to have been present on the stage at the time, the accused.
Thank you, counsel. The prosecution's position is clear. So, bring forth your witnesses now.
Bailiff, show the witnesses in. The witnesses whose proximity to the incident on the day in question will clarify the truth unequivocally.
Will it? We'll see about that. Ooh. Ah, hey, Genie.
Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court to hear.
Okay. Hot air balloon man. Interesting. And British Robin. My name is Balthasar Loon. I am the impresario of all the hot air balloons in vicinity of the experimental stage. Wait, is it like Italian? I am Italian. Mario. It's me, Mario. I am the impresario of all the hot air balloons in vicinity of the experimental stage. Oh, this is an actual my name. It is probably an actual German. Okay, let's do an actual German accent, maybe. My name is Wilhelm. My name is Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund Ormstein. Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund Ormstein. Godrich. Godlike. My name is Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund Ormstein. I have come to see the great exhibition all the way from my home in Bohemia. Okay, not Germany. Okay. I'm very rich.
Inspector Gina Lestrade, Scotland Yard. I'm a great detective. Even Sherlock Holmes agrees. I was on security duty at the exhibition and I got to go up on one of them balloons. It was amazing.
Gina? Again. But she did mention that she'd seen disaster from up in the balloon actually, didn't she? And she clearly loved every minute of it.
There were 3 balloons flying near the public experimentation stage where the incident occurred. 2 of these witnesses were in one such balloon at a time and saw events unfold from the skies above.
You make it sound like they were in the clouds. It was only an altitude of circa 6 feet, very low.
Well, you can't see nothing if you fly too high. Can you? Can ya?
60 feet, about 18 meters then.
Thank you for your introductions. Now, you will give your formal testimony for the court. Kindly describe exactly what you witnessed, especially those of you who had a vantage point above the stage.
What's wrong with your head though, kid? Did you fall down? It was an incident terrible. It was an incident terrible. That word makes it sound like it's French rather than Italian or whatever. I'm only grateful that my balloons were not damaged.
There's this huge bang from the stage, and then the next second, another bang in the sky beside us. And from amidst the smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere.
The cage, it fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower.
I didn't get a look inside this cage, but no one went near it after it crashed in the tower.
Man, this is difficult. 3 different accents that I have to do at one time.
A most extraordinary collective account, I must say.
Could I just clarify something? There's a detail in the witness's testimony that I've not heard any mention of until now. I have a lot of built up gas in my throat. Sorry about that. Specifically, that there were 2 explosions?
More precisely, 2 explosions in 2 separate places. Yes. When the demonstration began, the balloon carrying the 2 witnesses was around here. There were other balloons in the air nearby at the time, carrying the passengers as well, to be clear. Then, as power supplied to the machine for the demonstration, the first explosion occurred. The so-called bird cage that contained the victim disappeared from the stage, and at a moment later, the second explosion occurred directly adjacent to the balloon carrying the witness. The birdcage appeared at the site of the explosion, subsequently to plummet down into the crystal tower.
I was very surprised. Suddenly a cage appeared before my eyes with a person inside. The blast was so hot, but I didn't want to miss a thing, so I kept my eyes wide.
I'm rich. I still have love. I still have lots of money.
Precisely who is this curious infant?
I'm told he is a very young noble of Bohemian royalty. Apparently, he disguised himself in order to steal unnoticed into the great exhibition.
Yeah, I am here in London on a sightseeing trip with my elementary school.
We will have the benefit of a child's point of view in the testimony.
Do we really need that?
When I remove my mask, this is what I look like.
Ah, yes, I see. A delightful face, I'm sure.
Yeah, everybody says so.
Great disguise then.
The point is, the testimony of these witnesses further substantiates the facts for the court. Namely, that despite ending in an explosion, instantaneous kinesis was successfully demonstrated. And furthermore, that until the arrival of the police, no one approached the crystal tower where the victim fell. Therefore, only the accused who was with Mr. Asman on the stage could possibly have committed murder.
You know, if it was like dropped to the crystal tower, then there would be like on the ground, right? But probably, how do you say, investigations early on, it looked like it went through the crystal tower though.
Yes, thank you, counsel. The prosecution's views on the matter are quite clear. So, the defense cross-examination now, please.
Yes, my lord. Oh no. I have to cross-examine a child. How do I do that? By shouting at him. There's this huge bang for the stage, and the next second another bang in the sky beside us. Did I get anything out of that? No? No. Okay. And from amidst the smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere. The cage, it fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower. I didn't get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower. Appeared out of nowhere. From amidst the smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere. Let me just press everything. Critical, the wounds were not damaged. I'm gonna press Genie's statement. So you actually saw the accident happen from up in the air?
Yep, ain't it amazing what a detective gets to do, eh? I'm telling you, Aldo, being as loyal as a mug scheme. You should join the force and we can go flying together.
You know me so well. Yes, well, anyway, could you tell us exactly what you saw, do you think?
Everything. We saw everything, cause we were up above it all. A dodgy calf climbing into that cage, and that dodgy professor pulling all them levers. And that's where it happened. That's when there was that massive bang and the cage disappeared just like that.
You are describing the moment the subject's body was decomposed by the electricity, I believe.
I didn't know what to make of it, but then there was another bang, right in my ear. I looked around and there was a huge great fireball right next to us in the sky, and there was nothing there before.
Child, what have you to have to say? Master Gods. Does your memory of the day differ?
I'm teachers at elementary schools. that when you meet someone for the first time, you should always use their full name.
Ah, yes, what was it again?
Wilhelm Gottschalk Sigismund Ormstein.
Just the four names then. The point is, do you have something to say? Something to add in response to Detective Gina Lestrade's last remarks, perhaps?
Oi, get it right, audio. It's Inspector Lestrade. Lestrade.
Why does everyone have a problem with how I address them at the moment?
That is not what I saw.
Oh,
Yeah, there was a second explosion and was right beside our balloon. That is right, it is true. But I'm sure, which is what I say in it. 1 minute there was nothing, then the next a massive explosion. My teacher at elementary school said that when someone else is speaking, if you are rude enough to interrupt, you will have the most awful life imaginable.
are all Bohemians brought up to be so full of joy?
I'm rich. Just before the second explosion happened next to our balloon, I clearly witnessed a green balloon flying in the sky.
A green balloon?
You what? I never saw nothing like that. Well, I did. I saw it. And you can't say I did. I will complain to the council. I will cry and scream. I tell somebody it's off. I'm Bohemian Prince. You cannot say it's a lie. That is not allowed. Tesk playing the bleeding royalty card. Ah, yeah. Typical.
Says the orphan who likes to remind people she works for Her Majesty's Police.
In that case, young man, I must ask you to amend your formal testimony. In the interest of cordial national relations between Great Britain and Bohemia.
Are you saying it's this? Oh no! No. Okay, let's continue pressing. Extremely jarring. Press this statement, maybe. A green balloon, you say? Are you sure about that?
Of course I am. I am a proud Bohemian Prince. All these questions are making me boring.
I think you mean bored.
English is very annoying. The language of my countrymen is far superior.
Gazo, it is a very long lie.
Lie?
Flying balloons never explode. For the same reason the planets never explode. It is logical. Please tell me that it doesn't seem logical.
If you insult me, you insult all of Bohemia.
Madai!
I will have the army come and shoot all of your stupid balloons out of the sky. All of them.
Okay. Here you are, Your Highness. If only all international incidents were so easily resolved. Now that peaceful relations have been restored here in the courtroom, perhaps we could return to the testimony. Did you also see the moment that the cage materialized, Mr. Loon?
No. I did not see explosion myself. However,
let's just Did you see that actually happen?
No, in reality, I did not. I saw after it hit the wall tower, there was a grand confusion around the stage. I ran to see what the hell had happened. I was terrorized by the idea that one of the balloons had crashed.
I suppose they are his livelihood.
But when I looked it up at the sky, all my precious balloons were still there. I saw it though. I saw it slam into the tower. After all, I am a detective now.
And tell us what you saw, Inspector Lestrade.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
I'm gonna go on a limb and continue pressing all of this just in case, because we're gonna get anything new out of it other than the child's amended statement. There were 3 balloons flying above the experimentation stage at the time. Understand?
See, all 3 of them. My bellissimi, my bambini. They're very popular, signor. Some people will pay £10 for one ride.
Wait, signor? Is signor like Italian?
£10? It's more than my annual stipend. £20 a month. That is my pocket money.
Rose have all the luck.
I got up there for free. I got up there for free. I did. Played the old I worked for Her Majesty's police car, you know.
Detectives have all the luck. If they're so popular, why would you only be operating such a small number of balloons, though?
Because if I have too many in the skies, they could crash into each other.
The operators for the balloons were decided by lots, with each operator manning a particular area.
The sea and the zone above public experimentation stage is the most profitable. The other impresarios, they hate me.
Thank you, witness. I think the court has a clear picture of the arrangements for balloons rides at the exhibition. Perhaps we could hear more about what you actually witnessed of the incident.
Right, I can fill in there, my lord.
Okay, I've pressed this, I pressed this, I pressed this, let's press this. Press all the statements and decide what evidence I should be presenting. Was it you who gave the order to keep people away?
Use your air, Odo. How could it have been me? I was up in the balloon, weren't I?
Right.
So, cause I wasn't available, it was the boss who had to leg it over there. He was getting shoved and kicked all over the by the panicking spectators as he tried to see off the scene. It was real sight to behold, I can tell ya. Amazing. Cockney accent, damn.
Poor Inspector Gregson.
So anyway, I couldn't see the cage that was, well, cause of all the smoke. Now I didn't really want to see, to be honest. I was scared out of me wits.
Keep it together, Inspector. Prosecution really is asserting the demonstration was genuine. But what if it was actually some kind of a switch around trick instead? That would mean that the victim was never actually on stage in the first place. The 2 explosions would have thrown everyone watching into a panic for sure. I think I need to find out more about what exactly people saw at the time. Right, let's I think this is the statement I haven't really pressed all the way through, so let's do that. And after that, I think if this doesn't yield anything, then it's something that I have to present to the kid then. Pum 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 pum. Wait. Wait. Oh no, I didn't press this before? Okay. Really believe that saw something miraculous taking place. Okay, so it was this statement? No, wait a minute. I pressed that. I press this. So only thing left is this. I don't have any extra evidence. It was not in the sky that exploded. It was a green balloon that was next to ours at the time. Right, I have no idea and don't want to like waste everyone's time. Let's see what is the thing. Press statement to explain why she could pursue gods and he will reveal he then abandons his tent. Present piece of green cloth and stick. What? Okay. Statement 1. Okay. That was really a red herring, isn't it? Or sort of a red herring. Objection. Yep. Goddamn red. How would I figure that out? Mr. Loon, in your testimony, you say that all 3 of the balloons you had operating at the time were undamaged. See, that is correct. If they had been caught in the explosions, it would have been terrible. Terrible? I wonder if you might know what this is. I think it may be... See, part of a balloon. A burnt piece of the fabric of the envelope. Sorry? The envelope. Pardon, that is a very large round part of the balloon which becomes filled with hot air. It is made from very thick fabric lined with rubber. You do not want it to rip when you are in the sky. Just as I thought. This piece of cloth was found near the experimentation stage. In other words, as Master Gods testified, the green balloon did indeed explode that day. Eh? If all the balloons in the sky above the experimentation stage belong to you, Mr. Loon, then your statement that they were all undamaged clearly contradicts this evidence. No! If a balloon exploded that day, why didn't have the man say so? Maybe someone on board was killed. Oh no, having his friend start out of the explode. How awful. It seems to be nice now let's crash filthy The instantaneous kinesis did occur, but after the explosion on the stage, the point of meteorization shifted to a location occupied by a balloon.
Causing the balloon to explode. Yes, immediately plausible.
An unfortunate traffic accident, as it were, but it changes nothing about the pertinent facts.
This, I cannot accept. Why not, Mr. Loon? You are suggesting that I'm a liar. That person's died in a balloon incident.
There's no need to get fired up, Mr. Loon. The victim was the sole fatality that day.
That's right, I'll prove it. Balthazar Loon is not a liar. There was no such a balloon in the sky. It is not possible. Possible. You're saying it's impossible. Why?
This court has more important matters to discuss than the number of balloons that were operating that day.
Why are you being so defensive, prosecutor? I. But we can't ignore the fact that nobody appears to have known anything about this other balloon until now. My lord, the defense calls for further testimony from Mr. Loon.
I concur. There is clearly more to the truth here than meets the eye. It's imperative that we clear up the issue of this phantom balloon, I feel. Witness, you will give supplementary testimony about the balloons you were operating at the exhibition.
Ah, grazie, my lord. Yeah, I guess it's Spanish. This is Spanish. The person is Espanol. But what is a Spanish accent? I have no idea. Let's just stick with Italian. As I said about I mean, I guess it's something like Far Cry 6, but how does Far Cry 6 the Yaran accents are like? They're more like Mexican though, so I don't think it's quite right to say they have the same accent. As I said, about Balthazar Loon is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in the explosion, what a catastrophe.
But you can't get away from the fact that a burned-up beetle cloth was found at the scene, can you? The coppers at the yacht reckon it was probably some debris from the explosion on the stage.
This stupido ragazzo is mistaken. My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway. Wait, what? Blue and... okay.
So your assertion that the balloon this child saw was not one belonging to you?
Si, exactamente. If he even saw a balloon in the first place. I do not like the sound of it. It is very bad for business. I have a good mind to sue the land of Bohemia.
If you attack us, we will fight back. We will war. It will be war. All out war.
What happened to all that war? Mr. Loon certainly doesn't appear to be lying, but that doesn't change the fact that the testimony and evidence are contradictory here.
If the defense is unable to find fault with the witnesses' statements, the court must consider them the truth. Think long and hard on that, my learned friend.
The situation has clearly changed now. I have to get to the bottom of what happened here, no matter what it takes.
Counsel, you may now cross-examine the witnesses.
Ka-ching. As I said, everyone had the skies landed safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, what a catastrophe. But you can't get away from the fact that the burnout bit of the cloth was up and seen, can ya? The coppers at the yacht reckon it was probably some debris thrown to the stage. Okay. This stupido ragazzo is made to have red and blue zigzag stripes anyway. You mean the color is wrong? Si, senor, I do not have any green balloons in my warehouse. And yet a piece of green cloth was found at the scene, and it's unmistakably from a balloon. Well, I do not know how that can be.
For the sake of argument, let's say the green balloon did explode above the stage. You can therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question.
Why not?
There have been recreational balloon flights over Hyde Park, operating from before the Great Exhibition. One could have exploded on some earlier date, unfortunate, as I'm sure you'd agree.
You believe it may have been from some earlier balloon accident that predates the exhibition?
Si, exactamente. As the senior says, is that it's not from one by balloons. Clearly, this little ragazzo from Bohemia is mistaken about what he saw. Excuse me? There's something wrong, Master Gods. It's Master Wilhelm Gottschalk Sigismund Osmstein. It was on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, something is very wrong. I know what I saw. There was a green balloon there. I swear it. I swear all over Bohemia. You can speak as much bad language as you like, but it changes nothing. If you do have any evidence, ragazzo, I must tell your parents to punish you, eh? Perhaps we will let the judge decide when it comes to punishments. Evidence? What is this evidence?
To give a simple example, young man. A photograph, for instance, some tangible proof of what you claim.
Well, yes, you say so, sooner. I have the photograph here.
Good gracious!
What? I had not been up in the balloon for a little while, so I was very excited. I took lots and lots of photographs of the Crystal Tower, of the Bohemian exhibit, of the streets of London, of the hot eel cellar, the balloon. And the instantaneous kinesis experiment? Did you take a picture of that? Yeah, one picture. Really? You did take one? But all I wanted was a ride in the balloon. I was not interested in boring experiments. Never mind that. Can you show us that photograph? Of course. And then you will see. You will see that I'm not lying. That I really did see a clean balloon. Well, the photo is well, I see you're all too shocked to speak.
Yes, I think shock is indeed a word, young man.
Yeah, perhaps you cannot see that it was a green balloon from this photograph, but that is not my fault. That is the fault of the stupid person who made the camera. Why in Bohemian? There's one very Bohemian sounding cry. In Bohemian.
Very well. The court will accept this photograph as evidence.
Okay. Let me see. It's not my fault. It's the fault of the person who made the camera. Let's look at the photograph. Right. Someone is there. And this thing is pointing here. What's this mark over here? And there's nobody in it, of course. It still contradicts what Mr. Loon said, where he said all the balloon had people in it. So yeah. Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of wonderful sepia memories to take home with you. In any case, when exactly did you take that photograph? Well, it was on the day of the big explosion. You don't say. When I pressed the shutter release, there was this very loud bang, and a hot wind rushed over my face. That means this photograph was taken a split second before the explosion occurred. Well, if you ask me, this black and white photograph changes nothing. I could not give the flying fig. Lovely language you picked. You've picked up. Did he just swear? As I thought, Mr. Loon says something just doesn't quite add up. The young bohemian boy claims to have seen another, fourth balloon, but Mr. Loon vehemently denies the possibility. It's hard to imagine the man in charge could be mistaken about the number that were in the air. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something, I'm sure. Present this one. Present the picture. Objection. Unfortunately, the photograph master Gods can't tell us the color of the balloon, but it can tell something else, something crucially important.
What?
It shows that the pictured balloon wasn't carrying any passengers.
Ah, my goodness, you're right. But surely all the balloons would have been carrying passengers. There would be no sense in it otherwise.
See, they're all for pleasure, for seeing the view. My balloons only fly with passengers.
Which tells that the pictured balloon isn't one of them. So when the incident occurred that day, there was a fourth balloon in the skies above the experimentation stage. A mysterious green balloon.
I know nothing. Niente. I can only tell you one thing. If this balloon was not carrying passengers, then it was not one of mine.
Oh man, the balloon is...
There are illegal tradesmen everywhere you care to look. Clearly, one such entrepreneur decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the Great Exhibition and managed to operate balloon flights on Mr. Loon's patch without him realizing.
See, the competition. Trying to steal my profits. I did not notice because of the experimento that went wrong on that stage.
This fourth balloon exploded at the very same moment Mr. Osborne was beamed from the stage below.
Right. So them scraps them fell to the ground after and left them scorch marks. They didn't come from stage at all. It was bits of the balloon raining down. But cause no one was in it, it didn't get no attention.
A mysterious fourth balloon carrying no passengers, silently floating over the experimentation stage.
This photograph shows us nothing more. A stray balloon carrying no one and operated by some rogue trader. Clearly it has nothing to do with the case.
Its relevance does elude me, I must say.
The court has seen sufficient evidence and heard ample testimony already. The prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded.
Really? Have we really got to the truth yet? No, I can't let this opportunity slip away. Jurors' minds are made up, and not in our favor. What else can this photograph tell us? There's something more that we can learn from it. There's more! Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wait. Please don't give your decisions yet. The photograph from Master Gods may well be hiding one more vital clue.
What's that?
A vital clue!
We're well past the point of mere possibilities. It's time for definitives now, so tell the court. What exactly does the alleged clue in the photograph prove?
The cause of the explosion. The balloon's owner. Let me see again. Let me see the photograph again, okay? Totally will not know who the owner is. the cause of the explosion. Why would it be the cause of the explosion? Would prove the cause of explosion. It shows another balloon that he claims was green and exploded moments after he took. So. I think it's the cause of the explosion. We can reasonably assume that the picture balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of the explosion.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was not my fault.
Evidently, because the birdcage from the kinesis machine materialized in the sky where it had been flying, and the balloon being filled with flammable hydrogen instantly and explosively ignited.
No, that's not what happened.
What?
It would appear that this photograph requires closer examination. Counsel for the defense, you will highlight the location of this alleged clue in the photograph for the court.
Of course, my lord. If you look closely, it's plain enough to see, and what's shown is linked to another piece of evidence we have, in a way that leads to an unbelievable conclusion. The clue that heavily suggests the real reason the balloon exploded is this thing here. The timing of this photograph can only be described as miraculous. If you look, you'll notice there's a bright white line that appears to point directly to the balloon.
Most likely a ray of light caught incidentally on the film.
I'm afraid I can see nothing of the sort.
If you look with a magnifying glass, my lord, it becomes clear that the nature of the... Wait, what? Are you pooping me right now? Well, I'll be damned. No, nothing. I can't see. I still can't see anything. I thought there was something hidden.
Goodness, what is that? Undeniably some flash of light, yes.
Oh golly, do you think it might be lightning?
But it couldn't have been a finer day.
I believe we may be looking at fire.
A bow of fire, heading straight for the balloon, like an arrow. Indeed, even to my aging eyes, it would appear to be a flame of some sort. My word! Are you suggesting the flame struck the hydrogen gas and fueled the balloon?
That's absurd. The balloon would have been 60 feet above the ground at the time. No flame could possibly have reached such a height.
Actually, it's my opinion that a particular piece of evidence found at the scene reveals how that is exactly what happened.
What evidence?
If such evidence exists, Counsel, then for goodness sake, present it, man. Which evidence explains this mysterious streak of flame that appears to be headed directly for the balloon?
This was found hidden at the foot of a small ornamental tree near the scene.
Good Lord, is that a crossbow?
An arrow dipped in oil and said light could have been shot from this weapon, sending a flaming arrow straight into the hydrogen-filled balloon.
Are you suggesting that crossbow was used deliberately?
Blimey, you're right. That streak of light in the photo looks just like an arrow, doesn't it?
Then,
The explosion of the balloon, it was...
Very likely the result of a flaming arrow from this crossbow igniting the hydrogen gas inside it.
No. No. No.
I can't scream as Van Zix.
Order! Order! Council, this is an extraordinary supposition.
If the aim was to cause the balloon to explode, the shooter could have just used a gun, of course. However, there's an obvious reason why that would have been out of the question.
The noise of the discharge? Of course.
That's right. By using a crossbow, the projectile could be fired at the balloon silently.
Well, yeah, if someone had shot a gun off in the exhibition grounds, it would cause a real panic. But with the big explosion, there was a very big panic anyway, no?
I don't like this. I should be pleased to have found a plausible new explanation for all this, but something feels wrong.
Do you understand the implication of what you're saying, my Nipponese friend?
If a flaming arrow did indeed hit the balloon, obviously it would have exploded. And if the birdcage appeared from the cloud of smoke that ensued.
What? Wait a minute, what are you really saying here? I don't get it. Was the birdcage beam up into the sky after all, or what?
My goodness me!
Ah, now I understand. That's what that sinking feeling is about. I think there's a good chance that the birdcage was actually concealed inside the balloon all along.
What? Did I just hear that correctly, Council?
There's no going back now. The horse has bolted. Oh man, is that possible? I guess it's possible. Maybe. I'm no scientist, but it kind of feel like it's not possible. Okay. Let's assume, as I said, that the birdcage was hidden inside a green balloon from the side. I mean, if it was hidden inside there and there was an explosion inside there, wouldn't the birdcage be... I mean, there would be burn marks, and you could try to excuse it or try to lie about it, as in, oh, the teleportation burned the birdcage, so yeah, I guess that's smart. Let's assume, as I said, that the birdcage was hidden inside the green balloon from the start. On stage, when the experiment was started, the birdcage in the instantaneous kinesis machine disappeared in a cloud of smoke. At that moment, the flaming arrow was fired from the ground, causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of the spectators to the sky above their heads. From amid the smoke, the hidden birdcage then appeared to fall down and crash into the crystal tower. Also, that would be a very big explosion, because for a huge ass hot air balloon to only leave, to get exploded and only leave a small piece of cloth, is really going to destroy the birdcage as well, I think. Especially it's in the birdcage is in the center of the explosion. I think you all agree it's entirely plausible that what I've just described is the real truth behind the miraculous experiment carried out at that day.
Good grief!
Objection!
This is ludicrous. What you've described is no science experiment. It's child's play. A contemptible display of stage magic.
Both Mr. Sholmes and Iris said that the experiment was a scientific impossibility. In which case, this is the only way to explain what happened that day.
And in any case, the victim's body was found inside a birdcage in the crystal tower. If the instantaneous kinesis didn't take place, how do you explain that?
Ah, just so happens we have a magician in the court. If I may put in a word, as a man of magic myself, such apparent discrepancies can easily be explained by some simple deception. Juror number 3. All that would be needed is a doppelganger, someone who would look very similar to the victim, Mr. Asman, and having this other man appear on the stage to front the show as a body double. Ah, yes, of course. So in fact, Mr. Asman must have been inside a birdcage that was concealed inside a balloon right from the start.
That balloon would have been filled with hydrogen. Anything hidden inside it would have been scattered to four winds when it exploded. No one would ever have embarked on such a risky venture.
Oh my god, the jurors is helping me this time apparently.
Not as necessarily. The explosive force of the balloon gas would very much depend on the mixture ratio.
Juror number 4.
Flying balloons are rarely filled with pure hydrogen, but a mixture of other gases such as helium as well. Helium on its own doesn't explode, but by controlling the gas mixture ratio, the explosive force can be altered.
The mixture ratio? Damn. Scientists.
Obviously, the victim's body would have suffered some burns that would be unavoidable. But not to such an extent to render this whole obscene charade impossible.
So everything that happened can be explained, logically and scientifically. The explosion that engulfed the stage at the start of the experiment was no accident. It was all part of an elaborate deception, to make it appear that instantaneous kinesis had occurred.
Well, goodness me.
And if we accept that this is what happened, it means that the victim, Mr. Asman, was never present on the public experimentation stage to begin with.
No.
In short, he couldn't have been killed by the defendant, who was on stage in full view of the entire time. Ah. This will be very hard for the prosecution to counter. Lord Van Zeeks can't incredibly maintain that Professor Harebrain is a suspect now. Guess who? Harebrain, probably. Yep.
Mr. Naruhodo, I appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
Professor?
But you can't stop now. Just keep your mouth shut, please.
Sorry?
What's all this about, Mr. Harebrain?
I, Albert Harebrain, hereby confess that it was me who stabbed Mr. Oldie Asman. Yes, it was me, with my faithful friend and partner, Andrew, the screwdriver.
What? What are you doing?
Order! Order! Order!
Alright, case closed. Case closed.
Defendant, explain this sudden confession.
Professor Harebrain, what are you talking about? It's what I've said all along. I must protect my hypothesis and my precious machine. You stand there and claim it was all a trick, all an elaborate prank, but where's your proof? No, you'd have to examine the machine if you want to prove it, but then it will all be over. My beautiful hypothesis would be laid bare. I mean, the indignity of it. It's clear that you drew the plans for the experiment, but you didn't actually build it. It's quite conceivable that you were duped, Professor. If you just let me... Barrock!
Yes.
I'll cooperate. I'll do whatever you say. I swear it.
So please, ensure the special dispensation of scientific equipment exists here to protect my creation.
Okay. Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice at this critical juncture. Here's to my learned Nipponese friend
What?
and his upcoming attempt to clarify the defense position in the light of the accused's confession. Do you intend to formally assert that the experiment was nothing more than a conjuring trick? Because the moment you do, the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act that protects the professor's invention will cease to apply.
I mean, yeah, I would do that.
The prosecution will then demand a rigorous examination of the machinery involved in order to establish the truth. However, if you acknowledge that the machine is genuine and instrumental in the victim's murder, and any chance of investigating will be crushed, and the confidentiality of the professor's hypothesis preserved.
I don't think it's very suspicious right now, okay? I don't think whatever our accused is confessing is gonna do anything. It just means that not enough investigation has been done and trial should be postponed until everything is clear. Right? You shouldn't be able to make any sentencing now, any judgment call. The jurors can't do anything. They shouldn't be able to do anything. Not enough evidence whether or not the accused has confessed or not. That's not how it works. Also, yeah, I don't think it's a possibility that you can just let your accused, your accused to just shout whatever they want during a trial.
Well, counsel, what is the defense official position on this matter?
It is all over that. It's again like that previous case. What Professor Harebrained, my client, actually asked of me was to prove that the explosion on stage was an accident and protect the secrecy of his hypothesis. But there's no way to do that without implying the professor's guilt. Do I protect my client's life by asserting his innocence, or do I uphold my client's request but see him condemned? Either way, I can't avoid betraying his trust.
You've been silent long enough. Isn't talking your trade, my learned friend? Or has all knowledge of English escaped your confused Nipponese mind?
You know, you shouldn't be starting to attack me personally, okay, Von Ziggs? Racist? Mr. Naruhodo! There's no escape here. I have to make a choice. It's an impossible one. I have to give up on something. But what? Defense asserts the defender's instantaneous kinesis machine was in fact
a conjuring trick.
Probably the choice is not. It's useless. Ah! No, I can't say it. I can't place his faith in me. I can't just let him down. What must I give up on? Wait. Who is this saying?
What must I give up on? It's not the question you have to ask yourself here. It's what can I protect?
Susato! Ooh, Susato! Susato is back. Hello again, Miss Naruhodo. It's been far too long. Susato-san! But hiya! My first Susato takedown in 6 months. There'll be time to talk later, Miss Naruhodo. For now, we must concentrate on the task at hand. which is working out now. What I have to give up on, but what I can protect. Professor Harebrain. Ah, yes. Yesterday you told me that science is the pursuit of truth. Well, my job is to pursue the truth too. Yes, of course. And personally, I believe that you didn't stab Mr. Osman. I think you come to realize something yourself too, haven't you? That your experiment and the machine you built with the victim are questionable. The truth behind that is what we must both pursue now.
So, you finally opened your eyes.
What?
And as for you, Albert, you can't ignore this any longer.
Ah,
Having heard my learned friend's assertion, don't you have something to say?
Baroque.
Lord Van
Zix. Gosh, I've never heard him speak that way before. In truth, there's one thing. Something I've remembered that's of relevance. What? On the day it happened, just before I began the experiment, I saw a man near the stage. A man holding that crossbow.
I beg your pardon?
Professor, did the man have any distinguishing features? What did he look like? Taller than me, and thinner than me, with straight hair, straighter and whiter than mine. Let me see, one less lens than me too, a monocle, a rather stylish black monocle. But one thing in particular will help to positively identify the man. You see, I know him very well. After all, he's the engineer who built my invention.
What?
He built the machine? That's right. Mr. Osman introduced him to me a year ago. He's a man by the name of Enoch Drebber. What is this? Is it? It's definitely another palm of something. Enoch Drebber. Enoch Drebber? R-E-B? Rebird? No, it's not reversed. Enoch Drebber!
Does this name mean something? Members of the jury seem flustered.
Not a name any scientist wishes to hear. That man's abomination. Not a name any conjurer wishes to hear either. Who on earth is he? I'm afraid this isn't the first tale of this nature that I've heard in scientific circles in connection with that name. There's talk of other flamboyant experiments that turn out to be nothing but staged trickery in the end. Obviously, Rascal is after the government's research grant money. When magicians are in need of money, I have heard of them resorting to these underhand tactics. Some acquaintances of mine with experience of such things have mentioned Enoch Drebber's name before. The man is both an engineer and a magician. Yes, we're dealing with an apparent confidence trickster here. That's Enoch Drebber for you. Alright, new person we're going to meet, I guess. So it's true then. My invention, my great machine, it was just a grand illusion? Considering what we've just heard about Mr. Drebber's character, I'm sorry to say that sounds increasingly likely.
Even though no one else believed it, I wanted to. I wanted to believe that my machine would function exactly as my hypothesis predicted.
Which is why you were so opposed to it being investigated, I presume.
I knew that if the machine was examined in detail, its construction would give away my hypothesis. Obviously, I didn't want that to happen, but at the same time, I knew that if it was found to be nothing more than a trick and a work of deception, then everything I'd worked towards, all my research, all my dreams, my whole life would be over. I was terrified at the prospect.
So you really had no idea then, did you? About the true nature of the machine that was built, and the true nature of Mr. Drebber.
I never questioned anything. I didn't want to question it.
It's entirely possible that Mr. Osman and Mr. Drebber were working together to use you as a means of fraudulently acquiring this research grant money.
When I announced my invention to the crowds that day, it was the finest moment of my career. I pulled all the levers and turned all the dials in exactly the way Drebber had described. When the smoke suddenly started billowing out, I panicked. I didn't know what has happened. But I really don't know how the whole illusion was made to work. I don't know anything anymore.
Let me confirm one final point with you, Professor. Do you now consent to the prosecution submitting the necessary paperwork to release your invention from the protection afforded by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act?
Yes, please go ahead.
A pity, harebrain.
I'm very sorry.
It would appear that we shall have to suspend proceedings for the remainder of the day now. Lord Von Zix.
My lord.
The court has newly been made aware of another party whose involvement in this matter is critical.
Yes, Mr. Drebber. Mr. Drebber.
Gather information about the man. If possible, I should like him served with a subpoena.
With pleasure, my lord.
Now, counsel for the defense.
Yes, my lord?
When we reconvene, I shall be looking for one thing and one thing alone from you. Evidence that the defendant is innocent of the crime for which he presently stands accused.
I understand.
Good. In that case, this court is adjourned until tomorrow morning.
Okay. More investigations, I presume?
Yeah.
October, 1:36 p.m. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber.
Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes?
I'm so sorry. I was wrong. You were right. I tricked you. You trusted me. I dragged you into my mess. How did it ever come to this? I'm so sorry.
Did you really have no idea, Professor, about what Mr. Drebber was really up to, about what he was really constructing? Naturally. That machine was the embodiment of my hypothesis, of all my hopes and dreams. I had complete faith in it. All right. In that case, I won't say any more. Now, sadly, the murder accusation against you still stands. We must do as much investigation as we can before the trial resumes tomorrow. Well, thank you for doing so much for me. You're welcome. Susato! I'm so sorry for arriving late this morning, Miss Naruhodo. Arriving late? Didn't you receive my postcard? I wanted to let you know when I arrive. Postcard? What postcard?
I hid it from you, Bruno, so it would be a surprise.
What?
Well, did it work?
Yes, it worked. I was surprised, alright? Especially when she threw me to the ground. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I was just so happy to see you again that it sort of slipped out. Maybe we could stick to more traditional displays of emotion in future.
Susie's train was late in London, Victoria, this morning, you see. But we made the coachman really whip the horse's heart, so she didn't miss the whole trial.
I was watching from the gallery for a while, but in the end, I'm afraid I couldn't contain myself. Well, I'm glad you didn't. Oh, having you at my side in court gives me the strength I need to win. So, I'm delighted to see you back in London. Oh, you're too kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm delighted to be here. I hope I can continue to be a service to you. Of course. So, what's brought you back? Did Professor Mikoto not protest?
Let's save all that conversation for when we're back at home, shall we? You know, I make one of my most special plans over for this special occasion.
Oh, Iris, how wonderful. I can't wait. Yes, Susato is back in action. Susato was back in London. Damn, I am Ryunosuke sometimes. It's hard to describe how happy that made me feel at the time, but despite my elation, our tale was about to take yet another extraordinary turn. To be continued? To be continued. And yeah, I think we should end it here, right? It's been 10, 11, 12, 11, 12, 1, 11, 12, 4 hours. Nah, it's short stream, but Ace Attorney should be short. Because we don't want to drag too much, right? Alright. So I think it is quite early to be ending now. But I'll try to stream some more today if I am still not tired. Probably I won't be tired, but we'll see, right? But I have a lot of things to do anyways. So anyway, anyone that's still watching, how do you say this? Yeah. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this stream. We'll be back either later tonight or tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll actually do actual legal investigations. Live seminar. We'll be talking about the thing that I've been trying to implement and see how it would be something like learning contracts, online contract terms and conditions. So might be short, probably short, and like I guess we'll see then if we're gonna be learning anything new or learning how exactly Streamloots, which is the thing that I want to talk about. Streamloots term of service. We'll be talking about the legal document they have and see if there's any legal concerns we need to be worried about using that service. So yeah. Anyhow,
As always, whenever I end my streams, I will be rating someone. And we'll see who can rate. Right? We have plenty of decisions to make. Pretty sure. I think we can rate. Yeah, once we'll rate someone who has always been rating us. Kota. We'll rate Kota. So go over there now. Suis. All right. Take care, everyone. Stay hopeful, but be critical. I'll be back very soon, probably. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.